Man, it's amazing to me how different these shows feel Monday going into Tuesday. I don't know what happened with the shakeup. Not that I'm complaining at all, but WWE should always be putting their best foot forward in everything that they do. SmackDown just feels and looks and is presented so much better than Monday Night Raw. And coming from the shakeup, I don't know what happened. You know, a lot of people are poking fun that Road Dogg got moved from SmackDown Live to Monday Night Raw, and that's the reason why Monday Night Raw has been so terrible as of late, and why SmackDown Live has been better. Now, I doubt that's the reason. I'm sure that has something to do with it, but I would not pinpoint that as being the sole reason why this show is doing so much better than Monday Night Raw. It just feels different. And the one thing that SmackDown is doing right now is they're presenting a show that has consistency week in and week out. You know? They aren't getting worse than what they presented last week and the week before that and the week before that. If anything, they are staying like this. It's a straight line. They haven't dipped and they haven't gotten any better. It's been this. And I'm okay with that. This is WWE. I expect nothing more. If they give me a great show, it's a bonus. But I want these shows to be consistent. You see, Raw is like this. It's like a fucking roller coaster that goes up and then it comes down at fucking 100 miles an hour. And it just continues to go down. SmackDown stays like this, and I don't mind that. I don't mind that because it's neither good or bad. Tonight was a decent show. Consistent show. Wasn't a great show by any stretch of the imagination. Calm down. It wasn't great. Takes a lot to be great. It wasn't great. It did its job. It was definitely more of a go-home show than Monday Night Raw was. I don't know what the fuck Monday Night Raw was. Mix of American Gladiators and fucking Saved by the Bell all in one. Is that really what I want from a wrestling program leading into a pay-per-view? At least SmackDown Live, like I said, had consistency and it felt more like a go-home show. On Monday Night Raw, I say this often and I keep repeating myself, but I feel like I have to. Outside of Elias, Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, and Drew McIntyre, there is nobody on Monday Night Raw that I find, and I'm sure you guys can agree with me, some of you are kind of getting a little tired of Braun Strowman, but still, he is an attraction on Monday Night Raw. But I feel those are the four men on that show that are must-see. Everybody else on that show is completely fucking, you know what? I don't care. I don't care about Roman Reigns at all. I don't care about Jinder Mahal. I don't care about their tag team division. I don't care about Brock Lesnar being the Universal Champion. I don't care. You know, I find it funny how WWE took the cruiserweights off of Monday Night Raw ever since they started getting better and better and better and better on 205 Live. Now that the cruiserweights are being presented in the best light possible, now WWE doesn't want anything to do with them on Monday Night Raw. I wonder why. Yeah, that makes total sense. Take away the one thing now that everybody loves and take it off the show. Now the cruiserweights, if they do what they do on Tuesday, on Monday, and kind of get you hyped as a lead-in for 205 Live, that would make the shows better. Those are the guys that should be starting Monday Night Raw off. Not some fucking Bayside High bickering in the middle of the ring with 8 fucking individuals standing on ladders. It goes to show you what SmackDown Live did tonight, man. Consistency. They gave you 3 big matches. And no, clowns, the tag team match at the end, that 10-woman tag, did absolutely nothing for me. Nothing. I think I was clipping my fucking toenails during that match. That's how much interest I had in the 10-woman tag. It didn't get me interested in Money in the Bank. I certainly give zero fucks about Carmella. I was just making sure that my big toe was cut properly. That's all I gave a shit about. Goes to show you how much we all care about the women's division, both on Raw and SmackDown. Anyway. Look at what SmackDown Live did tonight, man. They gave you matches that you never seen before. That were good. You know? And everything just flowed nicely. In some aspects, it was presented like a SmackDown Live was presented in late 2016. Some of the matches we've seen on SmackDown Live tonight may actually end up being better than what we see on Sunday's pay-per-view. And it goes to show you as well, 2 hours is so much more effective than 3 hours on Monday Night Raw. It feels, like I said, a little from 2016. Some of the matches tonight are probably going to be better than half of the Money in the Bank card. So much more quality goes into a 2-hour show over a 3-hour show. And I don't understand why USA Network would want to continue making this show worse. Enough is enough already. If Raw was 2 hours, it would probably be on the same level as SmackDown. That extra hour, that extra filler that we get every single week ruins the show. You wouldn't be seeing segments like Sami Zayn and Bobby Lashley run a fucking obstacle course. You wouldn't be seeing No Way Jose and Kurt Hawkins. You won't be seeing just garbage filler. You won't be seeing Rhino and Heath Slater. You won't be seeing Breezango in just throwaway matches that mean nothing just to fill time. It's ridiculous. The 2-hour format is so much more effective than the 3 hours. And SmackDown has been telling you that for a long time now. It's just not tonight. It's just in my notes because it's what I'm feeling when I'm watching the show. Because what we seen last night just completely pissed everybody off. Again. Anyway. Let me get into the more topical pieces of information from SmackDown Live tonight. Before we get into the results, which was a good show. The show started off with a women's summit. Now, I figured everybody would be standing on ladders. You know how SmackDown usually takes from Raw and Raw takes from SmackDown. I figured all these women would be perched up on ladders with Paige right in the middle, standing on a ladder. I'm glad we didn't get that. But what we got was terrible fucking acting that made me roll my eyes in the back of the head, a la Undertaker 1991. And it made me want to change the channel. And it also made me wonder, wow, thank you WWE for giving me absolutely no explanation as to why Lana had an accent 2 weeks ago and all of a sudden it just disappears. I guess she developed the Kofi Kingston disease where it just is presented 1 week and then the next week it's gone without any explanation. I don't know why they had her have an accent anyway. She's much more effective in her regular voice without any accent. And the fact that, you know, she was on Total Divas talking as her real life persona, I don't know why they continue to give her an accent on television. It's a tale of two different worlds. If you're going to pretty much say, fuck you, kayfabe, and put her on Total Divas, that should have been something that would have been wiped away immediately if I was in charge. Lana had no accent. I don't expect her to win Money in the Bank, but I would expect WWE to do the right thing by her if she's going to play an integral part on the show and in that division. It's just silly to even think about. She had no accent. It's gone forever. The acting of all these women is fucking horrendous. Okay? You got Charlotte, who you guys know, you know, she may be a great in-ring performer when she wants to be. Some nights she is, some nights she's not. But her promo ability is fucking terrible. I'm tired of her sounding like fucking R2D2. I'm tired of sounding or of her sounding like the fucking robot from Lost in Space. You know? Danger! Danger, Will Robinson! You know, I'm tired of that. It's the same shit every fucking time. There's no emotion there. It's very monotone. I am going to win the money in the bank. I am the queen. I can't invest any emotion into someone who is lifeless and soulless. Then you got fucking Lana. Anything that comes out of her mouth, why would anybody believe anything she has to say about anything that happens in that ring? Then you got Naomi bickering with Lana. Naomi sounds scripted as fuck. And then you got Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch, I love Becky Lynch to death. I think Becky Lynch is underutilized. I think she's being mishandled. I think she deserves a big run with a championship, or at least some momentum underneath her. I'm not saying she sounded bad. She was definitely the one who sounded most genuine of the three. But the women overall, the acting of these women is downright awful. Downright awful. And I don't understand why WWE doesn't either give these women acting lessons or send them to a fucking coach. Something. I can do a better job at acting than the women on this show. It was pathetic. And then you got Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville coming out. And then you got Peyton Royce and Billie Kay, who are so fucking obnoxious. No matter what the reports say about them selling a ton of merchandise and SmackDown is going to be giving them a big push, they are annoying. I don't want to see this childish bickering and them trying to make fun of, you know, Naomi's theme music, and they're making fun of Becky's accent. It's juvenile garbage. It literally is comedy written for fucking children. This is shit that you see on Nickelodeon. Someone like you and I are not going to find comedy on Nickelodeon funny. We're going to reach for the remote control and change the fucking channel. That's what the women make you want to do on this program. There's no bearing on what they do in the ring. But if you're going to present them in meaningful storylines and give them a microphone, then make them sound serious. If there's one thing with the women's division that needs to happen, they need to sound less scripted. Give these women, out of everybody on the roster, bullet points and have them work off of it. I would love to see the difference between giving them a script to memorize in 10 minutes or giving them bullet points and having them go out there and, I don't know, here's a fucking one, here's one for you. Have them sound like a normal human being. And not like an android off the conveyor belt. Paige is not lumped into this. It's right in my notes. Paige has done a really great job. A really great job as SmackDown Live GM. I think Paige has done a very good job. And I'm really enjoying her. Now, I think authority figures should be booked like William Regal every single fucking week. If it was me and I was running a promotion, I wouldn't have these general managers be on the show every week. I'd have them sit in the back and I wouldn't even have them on TV. You set out the matches, send out a tweet, go over what's happening tonight, and that's it. And then you present yourself when there's a contract signing or a press conference or a big sit down between a champion and challenger or a major announcement, or you got to get involved and you got to break away two competitors who are just going at each other week after week and it gets volatile. Shit like that, you know? Remember when William Regal was getting involved with Samoa Joe and he was beating up the entire roster until he got to Nakamura? That is when you got to get the GMs involved, man. I still have the fucking sound of Samoa Joe yelling Regal on those episodes of NXT when he was still down there, man. That was some great shit. But Paige is doing a good job, man. She is walking around with a certain cockiness and a certain swagger. And a lot of people, including me, were like, well, you know, this is it for her. She's not going to wrestle anymore. She certainly getting comfortable in her role as general manager, and it's nice to see. You know, she definitely has that title in her name, and she's acting accordingly. She's acting like a general manager. She's pulling it off very well, and it's nice to see. And the best thing about Paige is she's not spotlighted in like 5, 6, 7 different segments on SmackDown Live. It's maybe 2 or 3, right? You'll see her in the opening sometimes, and then she'll interact with somebody else, and then a press conference, and that's it. I mean, over a 2-hour show, you know, that may seem like a lot, but Angle is definitely spotlighted more than Paige is. But Paige is doing a very good job, man. For everybody that was worried about her not wrestling anymore and then putting a female in the general manager position, I think she's blowing away all expectations, and she's doing a very good job. And it's nice to see. The next thing I have in my notes is SmackDown Live has so much of a better feel than Monday Night Raw, man. Everything from camera angles to the way that they have been doing certain interview segments. It just seems like a fresher show. Like they are trying new things, and they're trying to look a little less formulaic. Monday Night Raw is literally the same thing every single week. If you see one opening to a Raw, that's the same opening to every Raw for the rest of the year. It is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. You know, it's commentary that's the same. They do nothing but push Roman. After a while, it just beats down on you to a point where, you know, everybody suffers. Literally, everybody suffers. But SmackDown Live has been so much better and has a better feel compared to Monday Night Raw. And I don't think it takes anybody with a real brain to see that. SmackDown has been the much better show compared to Monday Night Raw. Jerry the King Lawler. They were in Memphis, Tennessee tonight for SmackDown Live. Jerry the King Lawler, obviously, the king of Memphis. They did a very good job at using Jerry the King Lawler in Memphis tonight, interviewing AJ Styles. It's like someone in WWE finally had a brain. They're like, well, the King is part of our, I guess, pre-show panel, right? He's used to being in front of the microphone. We're in Memphis. Let's have him go out there dressed in the King gear, interview AJ Styles before his last man standing match at Money in the Bank. There you go. It'd be a nice treat for the fans, and, you know, it's nice to get some spotlight on the WWE Championship match at Money in the Bank. It's like someone in fucking SmackDown Creative had a brain. Now, the segment only lasted one fucking question. AJ Styles, you know, is definitely in that category with the women where he sounds overly scripted. He's another one where I don't want to see him scripted. He sounds, and this is sad because I'm a huge AJ Styles fan. I got the fucking shirt and the hat on. He sounds cringe. I don't want to be saying that about the WWE Champion, but he sounds cringe. He doesn't sound, he sounds lazy. His promo work sounds lazy. I'm sorry. If there's one weakness in AJ, it is definitely his promo work. And WWE and SmackDown Live scripting AJ to sound lame mostly every single week, it's not doing him any favors. But it was a nice use of Jerry the King Lawler tonight. And again, they followed up with what Renee Young did last week with Big Cass. They had the interview being conducted on the stage. They don't have a certain stage set up for, you know, the interviews like they did back in the day with Mean Gene Okerlund. But it's nice. It's a nice change of presentation when you got AJ come out through the curtain. He stands on the stage and they're interviewing him with the ring and the spotlighted blue, you know, strobe lights in the ring, just highlighting the colors of SmackDown in the background. It's a very nice presentation. The one thing that I had in my mind was when Jerry the King Lawler was interviewing AJ Styles. One of my favorite, probably my favorite pay-per-view of all time outside of the 2006 ECW One Night Stand, which I just finished watching the podcast on the WWE Network with Conrad and Bruce Pritchard, man. Absolutely fucking worth an hour and a half of your time, man. Loved it. I thought it was a fantastic episode. Talking about the WWE CW. But when Jerry the King Lawler was standing on the stage interviewing AJ Styles, I just kind of got a minor flashback of the 1993 King of the Ring, where Mean Gene was interviewing Bret Hart after he beat Bam Bam Bigelow in the 1993 King of the Ring, and then out comes Jerry the King Lawler and kind of rains on his parade, and Bret Hart starts chanting, Burger King. And then Jerry the King Lawler takes the scepter that Bret Hart was just presented, and he just jams it right into his midsection, takes the crown, and he steps on the crown. And that led to their SummerSlam match in 1993, where Lawler was such a coward that he hired Doink to come out, and he faked an injury. And then Bret Hart went through a 20-minute match with Doink. And then Jerry the King Lawler took off all his crutches and his bandages and attacked Bret Hart mid-match. And then Bret had a match, another 20-minute match with Jerry the King Lawler. That was some great shit, man. So I'm thinking about that, and I'm like, my God, this WWE fucking blow now. Anyway, it was a very good use of Jerry the King Lawler here on SmackDown Live in Memphis, and it got the point across, you know. He asked him one very simple question. What made you snap? What made you snap during the contract signing to the point where you slapped the taste out of Shinsuke Nakamura's mouth? One question, but it got the job done. We had Samoa Joe and Rusev. First time ever. One-on-one. Before I even get to talking about the ending of that match, WWE needs to cut the in-match hype packages for the pay-per-view. They need to stop. I have it in my notes because it's just something that I see, and at that moment it bothers me, so it goes in my notes. WWE already announces Money in the Bank, and they go over the card 3, 4, 5 different times during the thing. Then they hype the WWE Network. Subscribe now and you get Money in the Bank and NXT TakeOver for free, right? But is it necessary to do even more hype for the pay-per-view in the middle of a match that you are hyping up as a first time ever between two guys who are in the Money in the Bank? When you already announced the Money in the Bank pay-per-view is happening, that you could get it for free over a dozen fucking times already. You go over the entire list of matches. Here's an idea. Let the competitors tell a compelling story in the ring leading up to the pay-per-view. That's all I care about. I know there's a pay-per-view happening on Sunday. The majority of the people who are watching at home know there's a pay-per-view happening on Sunday. You're giving us scroll bars at the bottom of the screen. You're going over the matches during the commentary. You're hyping the WWE Network every fucking match. We get it. Let the competitors build some conflict going into Money in the Bank. Is that so hard to ask? They do it every single fucking pay-per-view. It's annoying, and it makes 0 sense. 0 cents. Cut back on the advertisement. We get enough of that when you go to commercial. I don't need to see in commercial during the matches or for your own pay-per-view. It's ridiculous, you know? So I want that to stop. I know it's not, but it's something I have to mention here. Rusev beating Samoa Joe. It was very surprising that Rusev beat Samoa Joe. Now, obviously, there was a fuck finish because The Miz was a referee here and a normal, standard, regular referee. WWE official was not officiating this match. The Miz was a referee here. So clearly there was a fuck finish. And Rusev beating Samoa Joe with a Machka kick. This is surprising to me. Because I don't expect Samoa Joe to win Money in the Bank. I proclaim, like I have the last couple weeks, Braun Strowman and Samoa Joe are two guys that don't really need Money in the Bank. They're two guys that, if they're going to want something, they're going to go ask for it or take it. They don't need Money in the Bank. I don't see Braun Strowman running down the aisle like an opportunist, cashing in a briefcase. I don't see Samoa Joe running down the aisle frantically, waiting for an opportune moment to cash in. It doesn't really fit their gimmicks at all. So that's the main reason why I don't see either of them winning the Money in the Bank. But I got a little bit of a different feel tonight for Samoa Joe. A lot of people are picking The Miz to win Money in the Bank, including me. And that all hinders on Daniel Bryan. I would not be surprised if Samoa Joe wins the Money in the Bank and The Miz doesn't. Joe didn't win here. I figured Joe would win here because he has no chance of winning Money in the Bank. But I would not be surprised to see Joe have a legitimate shot at winning the Money in the Bank ladder match on Sunday. And that has absolutely nothing to do with anything WWE has planned right now. WWE wants The Miz and Daniel Bryan. But you can't go on and have something if Daniel Bryan is holding WWE up for contract talks. The reason why WWE hasn't pushed Daniel Bryan the way that they want, and the reason why they haven't been featuring him in main events and being featured in big-time matches on pay-per-view, the reason why they're getting this big cash bullshit out of the way, it's because Daniel Bryan hasn't signed an extension with WWE. Joe has a legitimate shot at winning Money in the Bank, and it all hinders on Daniel Bryan. Why are you going to continue to push Daniel Bryan in major storylines if you don't know what his intentions are? If Joe wins, I think it hinders on Daniel Bryan. If The Miz wins Money in the Bank, then I feel like the WWE has a good feeling that Daniel Bryan's going to resign with the company, and it's full steam ahead with that storyline. Now, they could still give it to The Miz, and they could still get their match out of Daniel Bryan at SummerSlam, and it's going to be rushed. But I don't want that. I don't think Daniel Bryan wants that either. I think Daniel Bryan wants to work with The Miz, but he wants it to be done right. And if WWE is going to visit that whatsoever, it needs to be done in a way where it's not rush through the next 2 months, get it done at SummerSlam, and then goodbye Daniel Bryan. It needs to be patient. There needs to be a ton of patience in this thing, and it needs to drag out over the fall months going into the winter, concluding at WrestleMania. You can get a match out of them here if you want one. And then the foundation is built with Miz cashing in Money in the Bank on Bryan, because when he signs that extension, you can start pushing him the way you want, feature him in some WWE title matches, and like I said, have the Miz take that opportunity away from him. Bryan gets close to the title, and the Miz takes that away. But Joe, I feel tonight that Joe has a legitimate shot at winning Money in the Bank because he didn't win here. Either Joe is going to have a dominating match and not win on Sunday, or they made him lose tonight because they have Joe lined up to win Money in the Bank. And like I said, that may hinder on Daniel Bryan. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It certainly is making things a little bit more interesting. I enjoyed the ending of the Nakamura Jeff Hardy match. Now, again, this is the first time ever. Normally, I would say, save this for pay-per-view, but I didn't really mind it tonight. It just kind of went well with the way the show flowed. I enjoyed the ending of the Nakamura Jeff Hardy match. It continued to show Nakamura is willing to do anything to win on Sunday. It shows that Nakamura doesn't care. He don't give a fuck about the rules because he knows he has no rules on Sunday. He doesn't give a shit about winning against Jeff Hardy because he has a title match on Sunday. He just wants to prove a point. He simply wants the WWE Championship. Now, Jeff Hardy isn't in a match at Money in the Bank. The U.S. title is not being defended, and Jeff Hardy himself is not in a match at all. And I don't know why I'm thinking of Almas. We were supposed to get Almas versus Sin Cara tonight. I'll talk about that in a second. But Jeff Hardy is not on Money in the Bank's pay-per-view. We discussed that Jeff Hardy has a pinched nerve. He's going through what Jason Jordan went through that kept him out for 2-3 months. So WWE may be taking a precautionary measure with Jeff Hardy. He looked decent tonight, but, I guess they want to give him some time off to kind of tend to his injuries. But Hardy gets a DQ win here tonight because Nakamura low-blowed him. And I don't mind that ending. Nakamura doesn't give a shit, just like I explained to you. Hardy gets a win by DQ. They played up the fact that, his back was hurting him during the match. Nakamura was working on the back, and Jeff Hardy hit the whisper in the wind, and he couldn't make the immediate cover, and Nakamura was feeling threatened in the match, and he did only what Nakamura knew how to during that sequence, and he did a low blow. So Hardy gets the win. You keep him with a win here. Nakamura doesn't beat the U.S. champion. Even though the U.S. champion hasn't been on TV, you don't want him to lose. So Nakamura goes about not giving a shit because he's getting what he wants on Sunday. He's got no rules. He's got the title match on Sunday. He didn't give a fuck about this match. He just wanted to assert his dominance. Jeff Hardy, on the other hand, wins by DQ. So you keep him with the United States Championship. You don't beat the United States Championship, and you get him a win. He doesn't look defeated, even though he doesn't have a spot on the Money in the Bank pay-per-view. So I didn't mind that ending at all. I thought the match was decent for what it was. Again, I'd like to see those two go at it in a little bit more storyline-driven feud and a little bit longer of a match, because I think they could definitely do something great. It was nice to see them in the ring for the first time together, but the fact of the matter is Nakamura has the match on Sunday. Jeff doesn't have the match or a match on Sunday, so I think the decision that they did tonight is the one that was the right one. Now, with Almas, apparently, WWE, I don't know if he's really hurt. Almas was supposed to fight Sin Cara tonight, and we didn't get any of that. I was looking forward to that, actually, but we didn't get it. WWE played up the fact that Almas injured Sin Cara last week in that post-interview attack. So, WWE, if he's legitimately hurt, I don't know. I didn't hear anything about it, or if WWE possibly could be saving this for the pay-per-view just to get Almas a pay-per-view payday and get another match on the card. I don't know. That's probably, if I was to take a logical guess here, and you guys want a reason why Almas was not on the show, I am going to say WWE wanted to give you some type of storyline-driven agenda here. Don't do the match tonight. He's not cleared, is what they said on social media. And the match happens on Sunday instead of Tuesday just to get Almas a pay-per-view payday and get Almas on the pay-per-view, being that he's going to be one of the bigger stars on this brand. And they want to get him on pay-per-view. That's what I take away from this. So, it might not be that bad of a decision, but I also don't see Almas versus Sin Cara being a Money in the Bank worthy match. You know, maybe Chicago welcomes him with open arms. I don't know. But I'd much rather have had the match tonight than what we got with that fucking women's match. I would have much rather had the match tonight and not on the pay-per-view. But if that makes any sense to you and is a feasible reason as to why WWE did this injury angle and they might be prolonging the match till Sunday instead of tonight, let me know down in the comments below. Those are all the notes that I took away from SmackDown Live, man. As far as the overall show, like I said, it was very consistent, and we got some pretty decent wrestling out of tonight, and it was a watchable episode of SmackDown Live. And if you guys want to go back and watch it, if you didn't watch it tonight live, I would say most of it is worth your time. The Bryan versus Shelton Benjamin match was really good. The Joe versus Rusev match was decent. The Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura match was decent. And I mean, out of those three matches, you're looking at that over 3 hours, over a 2 hour show. It's worth it. It's worth your time. Daniel Bryan versus Shelton Benjamin. We had a match here that was very good. I thought this was the main event, and instead they had this match open the show after that cringeworthy women's segment. Daniel Bryan's knee was the issue in this match. During this match, Shelton Benjamin slammed Daniel Bryan's knee on the announce table on the outside. And that was the focus on the match. Shelton Benjamin repeatedly tried to get a single leg Boston Crab and isolate the knee. It came to a point where Shelton Benjamin tried to get that single leg Boston Crab on again at the end of the match. And Bryan counters it into a heel hook is what they're calling it. They're going with the heel hook as Bryan's finisher lately. Bryan counters pay dirt, goes for a yes lock. Benjamin turns that around into a half crab, and he works on the knee, isolates the knee again. Bryan reverses that single leg Boston Crab into a heel hook, and Benjamin taps out. Daniel Bryan wins clean. And after the match, there was no post-match beatdown from Big Cass. Paige is backstage walking when she sees Asuka. Asuka wants SmackDown's Women's Champion tonight in a match. You know, they could have easily taken a page out of Monday Night Raw's book and give us that match early. I wouldn't have cared either way because I don't give a shit about the match on Sunday. Paige says that she can't do that. Wow, a GM with logic. She can't do that, but she will change the 8-woman match to a 10-woman match. Yes, Paige, that's exactly what I want to see. 10 women in a match that nobody gives a fuck about. Paige finds The Miz wearing his referee t-shirt. He's warming up and asks if he can be a special guest referee for tonight's Rusev versus Samoa Joe match. Paige knows he's trying to stir the pot and take out his competition for Money in the Bank, but she's not going to help him. Miz rants, but she steals his "when my hand goes up, your mouth goes shut" line, and the crowd pops for that. That was pretty cool. Paige ends up making Joe versus Rusev with The Miz as a special guest referee. Miz promises to put in a good word for her Fighting With My Family movie with the studio as he walks off. We got Jerry the King Lawler interviewing AJ Styles. Like I said before, Lawler asked what possessed AJ to slap Nakamura during the Money in the Bank contract signing last week. AJ admits that he lost his cool as Nakamura got underneath his skin. AJ did exactly what Nakamura said. He shows emotion, while Nakamura is not showing any emotion. They have not mentioned that one aspect of it in the storyline, but that one time that Nakamura said it, it's proving to be right. In every instance, Nakamura has remained cool, calm, and collected. AJ seems to be the one who is salty over Nakamura's lack of emotion. So it's pretty interesting, man. I wonder what they're going to do with Money in the Bank. WWE certainly has an opening to have this be a fuck finish. And I fully expect them to give us a fuck finish. Because like I said, and I'll mention this again on Off the Script on Friday when I do episode 226, and we talk about Money in the Bank preview and predictions, I fully expect it to be a fuck finish because I just don't see. And I might be booking this from a creative armchair position. You know, I might be becoming an armchair booker here, but normally what I would do, WWE wouldn't do, and vice versa. I just don't see it, and I wouldn't book it that way. I don't see WWE giving AJ Styles a new, fresh feud at Extreme Rules. The Extreme Rules pay-per-view calls for there to be some type of stipulation just based on the name of the pay-per-view. Why are you going to have a new feud start for AJ at Extreme Rules, which is a B-level, not even a B-level, a D-level pay-per-view? You might as well just milk this and continue to milk it. Give me a fuck finish. We also might not be getting this match to go on last. The WWE Championship may be in the middle of the card. So we could be getting that match in the middle of the card, which will definitely end up being a fuck finish. And I just don't see them taking that and giving us a clear-cut winner. I think they're going to go into Extreme Rules and give us a fuck finish. And another stipulation on top of that, and that's where we'll see it end. And if AJ walks out of that, still the WWE Champion, then we get a new feud going into SummerSlam, whether that's The Miz or Bryan or Joe. It doesn't matter. I would not have AJ begin a new feud going into Extreme Rules. AJ says we have rules and Nakamura will be disciplined if he doesn't want to follow them. AJ says Nakamura can continue acting like a kid, but he will act like a man. The last man standing. Kind of cheesy, but I guess it worked in context. Samoa Joe versus Rusev. This was a decent match. In the end, Aiden English tried to get involved. There were Rusev Day chants. Normally, heel versus heel doesn't work, but Rusev was more of a babyface than a heel in this match against an obvious heel in Samoa Joe. And might I add, Samoa Joe was already a badass, the way he was, normally, the way we're used to seeing him. He comes out sporting a new haircut. My God, does he look even more beastly than he did before with that new haircut. Just got to throw that in there. Rusev was acting like a babyface in this match. There were clear Rusev Day chants. So WWE, I guess, has not begun killing off Rusev Day chants yet. Aiden English got on the apron. He was knocked off the apron. Joe sends him to the apron. Joe ends up dropping Rusev with a Uranagi. And The Miz accidentally was bumped in the corner. He goes down. He's fixing himself. Joe with the Uranagi, like I said, on Rusev. He goes for the cover. And then The Miz doesn't count. Joe gets up, gets in Miz's face. He takes his fingers and bends his fingers back. Joe turns around, eats a Machka kick from Rusev, and Rusev takes advantage, pins him, 1, 2, 3, and Rusev gets the victory with some help over Samoa Joe. After the match, The Miz pulls Rusev off the ladder, drops him with a skull-crushing finale because Rusev wanted to proclaim that, look, I beat Joe, I'm going to win Money in the Bank. So Miz says, fuck that, takes him down off the ladder, gives him a skull-crushing finale. The Miz climbs up to the ladder, takes the briefcase off its hinge, and then throws it on the commentary table. Now, the camera was shooting The Miz, and they didn't focus on the briefcase. He opens up the briefcase on the commentary table and tells Byron Saxton to take the contract out of the briefcase and hand it to him. This is what I'm going to win. This is mine. This is going to be mine on Sunday night. Byron Saxton's like, what are you yelling for? The contract's not in here. It's nothing but pancakes. So the Miz is rummaging through fucking pancakes in the briefcase, and he's like clutching the pancakes. He's yelling for the New Day, you know? And the New Day was shown on the Titantron laughing at the Miz and his misfortune that he didn't get the briefcase, but he got a whole briefcase full of pancakes. Now, Xavier Woods wasn't there tonight on SmackDown Live. He was in Los Angeles at E3 because he was competing in some charity tournament for Fortnite with a bunch of other people. So that either had to be a tape segment from last week, or Xavier Woods is some type of fucking sorcerer, and he is able to be in two places at the same time. One of the unsolved mysteries we will never find out. But Rusev wins here as The Miz continues his little mini feud with the New Day, and we still don't know who's going to be participating in the Money in the Bank ladder match for the New Day. Jeff Hardy versus Shinsuke Nakamura. Jeff Hardy's back was the center and the focus of this match. Nakamura wins. Oh, actually, Jeff Hardy wins here. Nakamura could have won here, but Hardy goes for a twist of fate. That got blocked. And instead, Nakamura going for a Kinshasa. He says, fuck it, I'm going to go for a low blow. So that's exactly what he did. He goes for a low blow, gets disqualified. Jeff Hardy wins by DQ. Fans start to boo Nakamura. Nakamura is smiling. He waits for Hardy to get back up, and he nails the Kinshasa. And then he counts to 10 because Hardy was not the last man standing. And Hardy is going to look and suffer the same fate as AJ Styles on Sunday night, where AJ is not going to make the 10 count in their last man standing match. Carmella's backstage, and I wish she stayed there. Carmella's backstage getting her makeup done. She says she is, she's pretty much woke up. She pretty much woke up like this and dismisses the makeup girl. Renee Young comes over and approaches her and asks if she's concerned going into the match with Asuka on Sunday. Carmella laughs. She's not concerned about Asuka, but she's laughing. You know, I'd be laughing too if Dave Meltzer is giving me 1-star matches. Or actually, let me rephrase. I wouldn't be laughing if Dave Meltzer is giving me half-a-star matches when you're in the ring with Charlotte Flair at Backlash. Carmella laughs the question off and reminds all of us that she left Asuka laying last week. Conveniently, she didn't, pinpoint that she had help doing that. Carmella also reminds us that Charlotte Flair beat Asuka, and Carmella beat Flair twice. Yeah, in some of the worst women's matches of the year. Carmella goes on and says she's champion, yet she hasn't even defended the title since coming out of Backlash. She's not concerned with anyone. She says the women's Money in the Bank competitors should be concerned. Asuka should be concerned. She says Asuka should be scared. Carmella says she's ready for Asuka because Mella is money. Mella ain't money, bruh. Mella is garbage. Big Cass is backstage and he cuts one of these promos. WWE did actually show the Daniel Bryan promo that they showed on WWE.com tonight during this broadcast, where he just eviscerates Big Cass verbally. Big Cass talks about how he was paid around $25,000 to appear at a theme park today to promote the launch of their new roller coaster. He brought back a souvenir. The height requirement chart that he brought back is to make sure kids are tall enough to ride the roller coaster. Cash uses this to mock Daniel Bryan over his size. So the little souvenir, this chart that Big Cass brought, had a clown on it. And you guys know when you go to the amusement park, you got to be a certain height to ride certain rides. This chart had a fucking bozo-looking motherfucker on it. So either WWE has absolutely no idea and no storyline for this feud, and it needs to end immediately, or Big Cass is showing you that you have to be 7 foot tall to be a clown. I don't know what the point of all of this is. Yes, we get Big Cass is tall. He's a 7-foot clown. That's the only thing I got out of this segment. You're making this a height issue. Okay. Who cares? If you're selling this match on Big Cass is tall and Daniel Bryan is 5'10" or 5'9", however tall he is, what difference does that make? Daniel Bryan is a world-class champion. Big Cass is tall. Who are you gonna pick? Fuck out of here. 7-foot clown is all I got out of that segment. Charlotte, Asuka, Becky, Lana, and Naomi versus Peyton Royce, Billie Kay, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, and Carmella. I gotta be honest with you, man. I didn't watch this match, nor will I go over it. It's in my notes. The ending is in my notes. Carmella super kicks Asuka. She comes off the top rope with a drop kick, right? Carmella sends Lana out of the ring. Carmella super kicks Asuka. It's blocked. Asuka and Carmella trade back and forth until Asuka applies the Asuka lock. Carmella taps. Hopefully we see the ending that we seen tonight at Money in the Bank. After the match, they all celebrate, and SmackDown Live goes off the air with Carmella clutching her briefcase. Take that thing off of her and get it on Asuka immediately. If anything else happens, it is an automatic fucking decrease in my grade of Money in the Bank. That title needs to be on Asuka. Asuka versus Charlotte or Asuka versus Becky needs to take place at SummerSlam. That's all I'm going to say about that. This match did nothing to get me excited about the women's participation in Money in the Bank. It did nothing to get me excited about Asuka versus Carmella. All I have visions of are Carmella without the women's championship. That's all I care about. Anyway, I'm getting the fuck out. Did I say Carmella clutching the briefcase or the champion? I don't even give a fuck. She didn't deserve the briefcase or the championship. I'm getting the hell out of here, man. I got 4 hours of sleep last night. I'm sleep deprived, and I got to review this fucking heap of shit every single week, every single day. At least we got NXT, even though the show was good tonight. I'm lying. This show was good tonight. SmackDown, like I said, being consistent. Monday Night Raw continues to dig itself into a deeper grave every single Monday. But that's the norm nowadays. I guess we should get used to it. I will see you guys tomorrow. I think I'll be live streaming God of War. I am at a point right now where there's nothing else for me to do but to continue the story. I did all the side quests and all the side missions up until this point, so I'll probably be live streaming that. I'd like to play Call of Duty, but I'm not giving them my money to pre-order the fucking game now. Just to play those Black Ops 1 maps, and Black Ops 2 maps, and Black Ops 3. I'd love to. Otherwise, I'd stream that for you guys. But, you know, Activision, you want to make it like, you know, you need our money now. I'm not giving you my money now. You get my money when you get my money. When I want to pre-order the game. Give me a date for the beta, and then I'll give you my money. But I guess I'll be streaming God of War tomorrow on YouTube, and then we'll do NXT. NXT tomorrow night. The go-home show for TakeOver Chicago, which is probably going to be nothing but video packages. We do have an interview with Aleister Black tomorrow, so hopefully we'll get something tomorrow substantial on NXT. I'm getting out of here, guys. Thank you so much. Hope you guys enjoy your Wednesday night, because by the time this goes up, it'll be Wednesday. So I'll see you guys today with God of War, and then NXT tomorrow night as well, or tonight as well. So thank you guys so much. Hit that thumbs up, and I will see you all for NXT and the Go Home Show for TakeOver Chicago. I'll talk to you later.